You see, love is very powerful, but culture runs very deep. I'm not joking about it. Culture runs very, very deep. When two people with different race or tribe fall in love, the relationship becomes more than personal, but cultural. And if you don't prepare for the complexity that may arise, the love that you think you've fallen in may not be enough to sustain that relationship or the marriage. So in this episode of the institution called marriage, I'm going to give you the conditions or things to note before you consider choosing that path. And if you've already chosen it, I will also show you how to handle that relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Obuobi. You can call me Love Dr. Obi, and I'm the host of the institution called Marriage. And in this episode, I'm going to tell you how to handle racial or tribal relationships and marriages. That's also one important thing that many people are also missing, because as the world is coming together because of globalization, social media, and all of that, I mean, racial and tribal marriages are imminent, and so it is appropriate that we learn how to handle this situation and know what to expect and what to do when the situations arises in that marriages. If you are new on this channel, please don't hesitate to hit on the subscribe button. And if you are also a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming this far with me. Now, before you marry or be in a relationship with someone in a different race or tribe, know that there are cultural expectations and family traditions. I think those things, intercultural marriages, are very beautiful, but there are some things that you have to consider, because everyone does things differently. How their weddings are being done, how they understand the concept of marriage, how they treat a woman, how the woman treats men, what they do for the men. In some tribes, the women are the ones cooking for the people. In some races, the men are the ones cooking. But if you don't understand these expectations and family traditions and you come with yours to change the person, it may not work. For instance, in one family, if the woman is the one cooking, in another family, if the man is the one cooking, if they come together and the man expects the woman to cook, and the man also expects the woman to cook, it is not going to work. So you have to understand these tribal differences and racial differences before you take that bold step. So before you decide to choose that path, I think you should ask some important questions. Are you willing and ready to adapt to your partner's cultural values and belief system? Even the ones that you don't agree with them. Because when the relationship starts, many people are drowned in their emotions and feelings, and they do not have the capacity, or they are not in the best position to ask those questions. And after they have invested or committed themselves, that's where those questions start coming to mind. Maybe I cannot agree with this kind of culture. I cannot agree with this kind of tradition. So you have to ask yourself, will I be able to respect this tradition, this culture, even though I don't agree with it, even though it conflicts with mine? Would I be able to agree with the person? Or would I be able to tolerate, should be the right word, this person for this cultural belief? And once you have answered those questions, then you have to have the courage to discuss certain things. Have to discuss how weddings are being done. Have to discuss how children are being raised. Gender roles are very, very important. And also, we have to also discuss the expectations of family involvement in your marriage or relationships. There are some tribes and there are some races that when you marry into that family, you marry everybody within that family. They can come to your home unexpectedly. They can speak to you whenever there's a problem. The couple can go and report you to that family, and they will also have to sit down or call you and then advise you or say something about the marriage. It is not the case with every race. So you have to understand and make discussion regarding these topics before you move on to the next step. The second thing that you have to note when involving yourself in a racial or tribal marriage is that you have to consider parental and societal acceptance. Just as you have seen in many instances, in many races or in many tribes, marrying people outside your tribe or marrying people outside your race may come with or trigger resistance from family members or parents. As a fact, you've seen that in many instances where the parents do not want the other party to marry someone from a different tribe. Sometimes it's not just out of hate or out of past history or something, but because they think that you do not share the same values and morals to move on. To some extent, some see this as a betrayal or cultural loss. They think that their daughter or their son is betraying their family and they're doing things contrary to what the culture or the tribe wants them to do. And the truth is that sometimes, it's just sometimes, people are able to overcome all these resistance. Sometimes with patience, sometimes with communication, sometimes with taking the right approach, involving certain dignitaries or important people to also speak about it, or even the behavior or the love that they have for the other party. It comes with understanding. The position in their family also is a factor. But some also face long-term emotional strain. That is also one thing. Some, they do not get the approval. They decide to evade with their couple. They decide to live their own life. But that detachment has its consequences on the person. So these are some of the things that you have to note, that when it comes to marrying someone from a different tribe or a different race, that parental and societal acceptance is something that you have to consider. When you marry someone, remember that person comes from a particular family. They did not just emerge. They did not just come out of nowhere. They come from somewhere. And no matter what, they will always feel attached to that particular place. So if you don't have that acceptance, it is going to affect your relationship or marriage. Some people think that you are an adult and that family bondage or that family thing, acceptance, is not important. But when you start thinking like that, I just want you to know that you are not just marrying a person. You are marrying into their world, and they're also marrying into your world. And so you ask the $1 million person that, will both family be able to bridge that gap? If they can, great. If they can't, then you have to take the necessary approach to address it or break it apart. That brings me to my third most important thing: child rearing, identity, and language. This is also one important thing that you have to consider before marrying from different tribe or race. There are many children of mixed race that usually face this kind of complexity in their life, whatever language they are to adapt, so that they become confused, and every parent is trying to inculcate or is trying to push onto their culture onto the child. Okay, and these children are more likely to face confusion in their life because they do not know whichever tribe or whichever race that they're supposed to align more with. The man will say that I am the man of the house, and so the children should align with mine. The woman will also think that I am also his or her mother, so let the child also learn things about my family and my culture and all that. And those friction can cause so much problem in the marriage or the relationship. So when it gets to that point, the parent or the couple must understand that, would they be able to face the most critical questions? Ask yourself, what language will the children learn? What kind of values are we passing on to them? Are we ready to respect each one's heritage and teach the children of both of our heritage? We teach the children about the father's heritage. We teach the children about the mother's heritage. Not one race thinking that they are so superior, so this race or tribe doesn't matter, so let's forget about that one. If you are yet to cross that path, then maybe you should reconsider getting married to someone from a different race or tribe. I believe that unity in parenting is very key. So if you don't agree on what culture to prioritize or how to even blend both of them, your children will grow confused and disconnected. And that is not good for both of you parents. The fourth and the last thing I'm going to talk about under this very topic is how to deal with prejudice, stereotypes, and external pressures. The moment you decide to go to a different tribe or race, understand that this tribal or interracial marriage may face societal backlash, stereotypes, and sometimes you may feel discriminated against. That is bound to happen. Even though in these times we are having the world being more globalized and people are being civilized and all that, but these things still exist. So you must ask each other, are we ready? Are we strong enough to handle this external pressure? Can we protect each other against this prejudice without turning against each other? Because when you get to a point and then we are all holding hands to fight the external pressure and one person is having second thoughts, then our fights is going nowhere. You are bound to lose. So you ask yourself, are we willing to hold hands and fight against this prejudice and external pressure rather than fighting each other? Because if you are going to do both fights, you are going to drain yourself and the relationship or marriage will not succeed. So my advice to you is that understand that love doesn't erase racism or tribalism. But trust me, it is so powerful that it can overcome all these things if the parties are emotionally secured, socially aware, and united with purpose. So I believe that you should consider all these things, and if you still want to go ahead and marry someone from a different race, do the thing that I've mentioned. But if you think you cannot handle what I have discussed, then it's better you find someone from your race or your tribe. And that brings me to my conclusion. I believe that marrying across tribal lines is very possible. And many people have done it very beautifully, but it requires intentionality. Don't just fall in love. Learn, unlearn, and prepare. If you are willing to do the cultural work, the love you build can be a powerful bridge between two worlds. I thank you so much for joining me in this episode. My name is Dr. Obuobi. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. Also, please don't forget to like this episode and also leave a comment on what you think about this particular topic, and also share to someone who needs to see this episode to guide their relationship life. I will see you in the next episode.